issues that matter to you. We have a big one tonight. Former Majority Leader, former MP for Suame, Honorable Kyei-Mensah-Bonsu is joining us to talk about everything. We're reflecting on 9.5 months of the Mahama administration, the state of our democracy, the state of the new patriotic party, constitution review, and the rest of it. All of that and more when we come back. Stay with us.
Remember who we are seeing now. At risk of prostate enlargement. We a member or her 20 ebitimi prostate cancer, 5 bitimi afamu nadia obefamu.
Actually, this is not my fault.
And to wada, entina midi mani Executive Prostate Center.
Executive Prostate Center is a unique medical center where we harmonize in-depth traditional medicine with cutting-edge science and technology to cure, to treat, and to prevent diseases like prostate enlargement, prostate cancer.
Executive Prostate Center. Madame facilities no any professional medical care.
Sisi a bibia clear system no. Ye nro ne so de natural. Into we koso afama ye.
Executive Prostate Center. My cured.
When malaria strikes your home, it strikes everything. Sleep, peace, and even work. Don't miss deadlines because of malaria. Don't lose your sleep to malaria. No more endless worry because of malaria.
Olenoko, enough!
Fight malaria back with Vegatem. Vegatem is effective, safe, and fast-acting against malaria. With its alu-alu packaging, Vegatem tablets stays effective right to the very last tablets. Vegatem is also available in suspension for children. Vegatem, tough on malaria, easy on you. If symptoms persist after 3 days, please consult a doctor. This advert is FDA approved.
Kwame and his uncle are almost here.
Wait a minute. This one too, your friend Kwame.
Wait, Kwame. As in the same Kwame again?
Yes, mommy.
I'm the second coming. Into all this tension just to reintroduce that broke boy from Kaswa.
Why would you deceive the family like this again?
Now I understand the whole delay. Troll from Kaswa. Why wouldn't he be late? Or be late? Of course.
Star 712 hash, star 712 hash. Coffee be the luckiest. Coffee from Georgia be luckiest. From not the block, she be luckiest. Yeah, you coffee be luckiest. No matter why you're luckiest. Everybody go be that luckiest.
That's Kwame!
Send your God up boom. If you put it toy, so would the coming of the son of man be. Is that his car?
Everywhere.
Dial star 712 hash. Choose your ticket. Enter your lucky number. Follow the prompts and let destiny handle the rest.
This promotion is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas platform.
Welcome back. So tonight we have the former majority leader. You can also say former minority leader because he's occupied both positions. Former MP for Suame, who is now a statesman of NPP, joining us to talk about a lot of things. Honorable Kyei-Mensah-Bonsu, good evening.
Good evening, and thank you for having me.
So what has a former majority leader do when his party is in opposition? How does his day change? Because I'm sure a year ago you were very busy.
Absolutely. What it means is that having slept on the wrong side of the bed, you wake up to reality, and that your party is no longer superintending over the nation, and you recline to your private work, your private self. So that is at least what's happening.
But you've not been allowed to do that by either the media or the party itself, because we've been calling you a lot, and I think your party has been involving you in a lot of things.
Well, yes. After the loss, the abysmal performance, the party decided to put together a team to delve into what to do with the party's constitution, constitutional amendments. And I was involved. Having worked with the party and with the constitution for so many years, I've gotten to know the deficits in the constitution and how to move it forward. So on my own, I proposed that 187 amendments. And they
187 amendments?
Yes.
Of yours alone?
Yes.
Hey.
And
wow.
And the chairman of the committee, Mr. Frank Davis, was saying that I wanted a rewrite of the constitution. I thought that was how it should be. So yes, and then you remember that at the very beginning, a week after we had lost after we lost power, shocked by the performance of the party in Ashanti region, the regional executive committee also put together a committee, which I chaired, to investigate the circumstances of our loss. And that was in the Ashanti region. And the region delved into it and came out with a report. Wow. So it lasted for some time, the investigation that was conducted. And we came out with a report, which was given to the party.
So that work at the regional level started even in 2024?
No, a week after the loss, yes, in 2024.
Wow, so about December 15?
Exactly 1 week. But the results, we voted on a Saturday, and just the following Saturday, the party met.
And put together a team?
And put together a team, because they were shell-shocked by the performance of the party in Ashanti region.
But was that not a knee-jerk? Because a week, I mean, we hadn't even finished processing the results. Even within that period, there were still collations going on. I mean, the dust actually probably settled around the first week of January. And you're already doing a probe.
The thing is, if such events happen, and you don't seize the occasion to do the investigation, you allow the sun to set on it, people may even forget.
Rather?
Absolutely.
Don't you think people need to reflect better, have a proper reckoning, so you can get more useful info? Because people are not even sure what's happening within the first week of the loss. And they may not probably tell you the real truth, would they?
They would.
You sure?
No, but if any incident happens, let's say crime, you say that the event is so horrible that you allow a year to pass before you go to the crime scene. You go to the crime scene immediately to fetch the circumstances and probe into it immediately.
It depends on what you're looking for, right? If you're looking for reflections versus you're looking for evidence, but fair enough. And then this was just the party level?
It was just the party level.
And you finished that work by when?
I think that work got finished, was it February or so, I should think? Everything was done by February and the report got produced.
I think in the media we confused that work and the work the party executive commissioned of the Okwe committee. Because initially, the two results were being... It was as if we were mixing the two issues.
People were mixing.
So the Okwe committee started January 3.
Yes.
And they finished April 16.
Yes.
You started December 15-ish. Yes. And finished February 20.
But the production of the report, I would say that the work itself got finished by the end of January or so, and then we needed to do some editing and so on and so forth, and went into print. in February and came out with the
Were the two documents merged in any way?
Well, I have not seen the full complement of the Okwe report. But if the executive summary as given to council by Professor Okwe is anything to go by, and also some insights that were provided when the party, together with the the former flag bearer, went on a thank you tour. If those insights provided by the General Secretary are anything to go by, then it does appear that the conclusions of the two are similar.
So the idea of constitution review, you can say, came out of the Okwe work. The idea for constitution review, or it came out of your work as well?
Well, see, it's not only the two of us who did this. Don't forget, a group of university professors came together to inquire into the performance of the party. They also came up with their own findings and conclusions. And there's this international foundation, the Konrad Adenauer Foundation.
Yeah, German.
The German foundation related to CDU.
So they are a bit on the
center-right party.
Center-right, yes.
So we are in league at IDU with them.
Yeah.
And anytime we have done an election, win or lose, they conduct a research into our performance. The outcome is similar to what we, produced. And also it concurs with that of the group of lecturers who came together to do that. Plus, as I said, the revelations coming out from the Okwe report.
When the report was presented to the executive, I think the same day, they commissioned a 9 or 12-member committee to do constitution review.
Yes.
For those of us on the outside, it would seem as if the biggest conclusion from the work was that there were issues with NPP's constitution.
Yes.
But looking at how the idea of the committee's work was sold to the public, wouldn't the constitution review just be one minuscule part? Because if a party after 8 years loses an election, and the first substantive thing you do after a report to investigate why you lost was to change your constitution, it would suggest as though it was purely an internal issue, whereas there were many possible factors for the loss.
Absolutely, I agree. There are many factors that led to the loss. And as I said, those reports, in their conclusions, the observations, conclusions, come up with the reasons for the loss. And some of them beyond us, but some of them that we can attend to. So those of them that we should be able to attend to, we attend to. But I agree with you that some fall outside the Constitution, right? But by and large, it may also relate to how to effect discipline in the party. That's what it is.
Because the impression it creates for some is that NPP is focused just on itself without necessarily admitting how it was perceived by the public, the voting public, and without necessarily also having a reckoning, telling Ghanaians in the face that this is what we thought we did wrong and we feel we need to change. But the main issue of, so let's do a constitution review, and by July you're holding a national conference, you are adapting new ways of organizing. It seems all very, it's almost like, I don't want to use the word insular because that would not be a right word, but it seems a bit limited. You know what I mean? Because you've lost a big election by an unprecedented margin. You should be talking to Ghanaians first before doing all the things you're doing, right? But it seems it's almost like business as usual for the country. Let's do our NPP things first, and I don't know, maybe you should give me some reasoning behind that approach.
Of the constitutional amendment?
The whole thing, let's amend the constitution, let's go to conference, let's adopt the changes, let's vote for Flagbearer early. And all this is within the first 9 months, right? There hasn't been a conversation with Ghanaians yet. There hasn't been I mean, I don't know how to put it. It seems as if NPP is just focused on itself. Let's do our thing. Losing an election has nothing to do with the people of Ghana. Has everything to do with what we didn't do. But that may not be the case.
That certainly is not the case. As I have owned up, at least I chaired the Ashanti Regional Chapter of the inquiry. And of course, even though it was not intended for the report to be advertised, it got advertised, the content got advertised. And I can relate to, because of that, I can relate to, in our view, that is according to the findings that came out, what led to our loss. The committee flagged 4 main issues.
Okay.
One being external factors, some strong winds that blew from outside and hit us, caught us unprepared.
On the economy side?
Yes, it affected the economy.
Okay.
But basically attributable to COVID-19, the Russian-Ukraine war. These are things that we couldn't forces majeure that we couldn't control. They hit us. They had repercussions on us, on the economy in particular.
Yeah.
Right. Especially the meltdown that we experienced. We did so. The former president did so well to protect lives and livelihood. But then it exacted a toll on the country's finances. And going forward, it engendered some heat in the system. And then we had to go to the IMF for a bailout. Some of the things that we had not intended to do, the domestic debt exchange program that affected over 800,000 people. They have families, right? And so they were hard pressed, they were hard put. Then we had other matters, including in particular the Russian-Ukraine war, which escalated the cost of many items, especially on steel products, because we used to import a lot from Ukraine. Then even fertilizers and so on, they were affected. The prices were affected. As I said, in the long run, what we had not envisaged to do, we were forced to do. Going to the IMF for a bailout. They put in restrictions on us. We then had to put on hold a lot of development projects and so on. And so they hit us. Then we had issues. So that's the first. Then we had issues with governance. Akufo-Addo's administration had done so much for this country. But then
in the first term,
like before COVID. But post-COVID, our backs were to the wall. So, and then as I said, because it exacted a toll on the economy, we had to put brakes on many things, development programs that we had set out to do. And that affected the lubrication of the system. Contractors worked, you couldn't pay them. If contractors work and you pay them timeously, it oils the economy. But
so governance decisions.
We had said we're not going to go for a haircut. We did. We're not even going to go to the IMF. Eventually, we had to make a U-turn. Right.
Backtracking.
Lots of backtracking. Then we had people in the system, these people in NAPCO and so on, that it then became difficult to even give their stipends. And these affected the party. Because even though we had given temporary employment to them, because we couldn't pay them, they turned back and then accused you, right, and became hostile to you. They had forgotten that you had given them some relief. Right? So these were matters relating to
external governance. Then number 3 will be what?
Number 3 has to do with matters connected with the party's own internal organization.
So that's the internal issues.
Internal issues.
Party issues.
Party issues. Right?
So, and what will number 4 be?
4 had to do with the electioneering campaigns and so on and so forth.
Some will think some people feel the candidate was also part. Choice of candidate and also being a vice president, point number 2 affects him because his point number 2 is governance that has made people unhappy.
I wouldn't
I'm just putting that.
No,
so like
certainly as a vice president.
So imagine if, for example, in 2008, Akufo-Addo was not necessarily the number 2 to Kufuor. So even though some people are not happy with the Kufuor government, there's a sense in which you can say he's a foreign minister, he didn't agree with Kufuor on everything,
yes.
So it's a bit different. But your candidate was the direct vice president.
Yes.
And so flowing from governance decisions and also the way he had been positioned in his brilliance in opposition, his articulation of economy, he sort of bore the brunt of the anger of the people in a way that an external candidate may not have.
I would agree with you. As you do know, a similar situation played out in the US when we had Kamala
and
Harris
Joe.
And Joe Biden, right? She couldn't extricate herself from everything, vice president. So sometimes you have to take some punch, because even though by our constitution, the executive power is vested in just one person, it's the president and not the vice president. They don't share responsibility. However, the presidency encapsulates the two. So you cannot also extricate yourself, especially when you sit in cabinet, right? So
especially when you've also said you are the leader of the economic team, you talk about the various people, Alan Chamating, Osea Koto. He marketed the economic brilliance of the team, and he being the head of Safo Mafu and Co. So in a sense, he brought some of this upon himself, didn't he?
I mean, that's the reality. That's the reality. But nobody should forget. I just said that executive authority is vested in one person.
Yes.
That is not to extricate Dr. Bawumia from every blame. I'm just relating to the constitutional imperative. And don't forget that the economic management team that he headed, what do? Their role is only advisory.
A management team?
Their role is advisory. Do they force their observations on the president?
The team includes the finance minister, the agriculture minister,
saying that
the transport minister, the trade minister.
But ministers, what's the role of ministers?
No, my point is that they are the ones implementing policy.
I'm saying, what's the role of ministers?
They implement policy.
Ministers only assist the president in taking decisions. The ultimate decision maker is the president.
They implement his policies.
I'm saying, let's not go into implementation. It's arriving at the decision first.
Okay.
And I'm saying that first, the decision that is taken
obviously the president's decision.
It's the president's decision.
Enough. And then they execute it.
And once the decision is taken, then they execute it. That's why they are the executive. Right? So that is what it is. But I'm not saying that in the situation you can whitewash Dr. Bawumia, and extricate him from any of the things that people consider not good. The policies and programs that people think that were not very good. You cannot extricate him completely. Just as, even though, as I said, cabinet members are only advisors to the president. You sit in cabinet, it's a collective decision, right? So even as cabinet ministers, and I've been a cabinet minister, you go there, you try to maybe point out a few deficits here and there, but ultimately if a decision comes out, you are bound by it. You cannot come out to say that, especially when you swear a cabinet oath of secrecy. You can't then come out to say that, I didn't agree with this. This one I agreed with. Once the decision is taken, you are bound by it, and you are supposed to project the good image of cabinet. So that's what,
so I think it's fair,
it is.
The point you're making. I just feel like that will be a difficulty for him in his campaign going forward, because if there are governance decisions that didn't go well, and if his advice wasn't even taken, in presenting himself to Ghanaians, he would have to clarify his views on past issues, because a lot of times our campaigns have to do with what you said and what you did.
Right.
So whether it's the IMF we went for, whether it's the haircuts for the DDEP, he would have to tell Ghanaians how different his views were and what his approach would be different. So it's a question he has to address.
It's a dicey issue.
Yeah.
It's a dicey issue. You walk a tightrope. You cannot come out openly to say that, in cabinet, the president said this, I disagreed with him. You can't say so. But you see, it depends on how you position yourself that going forward, these things happened. We're all part of it. It's the government of Ghana, superintended by the NPP, anchored by the president. We've learned, these things were introduced, we've learned useful lessons. Going forward, these are the changes that we effect. So it depends on how you state it, right? And I think that Dr. Bawumia is capable of doing that. Just as maybe those of them who served in cabinet would also be able to say that, well, even though I was part of this, the next time around...
I agree it's a tightrope, and
yes.
I take your point, but let me go to Mills and Rawlings. You remember in the 2000 election, Mills lost quite badly. And from then on, a lot of people in NPP started portraying him as Rawlings' poodle. Yeah. Between 2004 and 2008, there appears to have been a falling out. So that distance between Mills and Rawlings prior to 2009 or whatever, and then of course when he won, seems to give him a fresh identity. So in a way, he became his own man, right? Maybe some may say Dr. Bawumia may have to take a calculated risk, because if the NPP's loss is attributable to, number two, governance issues, and the man who brought up all ultimate responsibility was not on the ballot, but people punish Dr. Bawumia because of his association, he may need to face Ghanaians. For example, when he gave the speech of his concession, most people said that was the best concession speech they had heard in a long time. And a lot of people said, this is the Bawumia we know. All right? You could tell he wrote it himself, and you could tell he was speaking from the heart. There's a view that the politics forces him to try and do too many things, that he should be his own man and tell us that I didn't agree with this, but I agree with this. And so that people can trust him for who he is. But he's trying too hard not to offend Akufo-Addo, but also present a fresh face, and it's not going to work.
That's why I said it depends on how, what message he bears and how he bears it. You related to the relationship between former President Mills and former President Rawlings. Don't forget, and you said that, oh, the NPP branded him as a poodle. He himself had said that he was going to consult Rawlings 24 hours a day. So he added to it. But going forward, when he lost the first time around, into the second time, the third attempt, then he was able to distance himself. Remember, even the time they had given to choosing a running mate.
Even the choice of running mate. Rawlings didn't appear to agree at the time.
Yes, so when he went there to the conference center of Kama Pharmaceuticals, where the event held, before Rawlings got there, they had finished. And they announced
Mahama.
Announced Mahama. Really, so as we said, he took a calculated risk, but it didn't come overnight. So that balancing act may have to continue, because you see, you can't, as I said, President Nana Akufo-Addo did a lot of good things to Ghana, but the events post-COVID caused some havoc in the system. It introduced a lot of turbulence in the system. And in that process, a few things went wrong. We must all reflect. Could we have done it in a better way, given the circumstances of the time? Every decision has its own flip sides and positive sides, which is why, as I'm saying, maybe the way to go would be to own up to certain things and then move on. Remember, not too long ago, Dr. Bawumia at a forum had even offered an apology that we did our best. But given the circumstances that ensued post-COVID, a few things were done which perhaps upon reflection we should have done it better. And for that reason, I apologize for the things that went wrong. We are not angels, and that we have learned useful lessons. Going forward, we will do much better. Even some within the party took him on. Somebody said, if you apologize, apologize on your own part. Don't include me, even though I was a cabinet minister. I didn't do anything wrong. How can somebody speak like that? You're a cabinet minister. Decisions are taken at the cabinet level. They are collective decisions that come out. And then we have somebody saying that we didn't get everything right. We apologize for the things that we didn't get right. And you, a former cabinet minister, says that as for you, you are not part of it.
We'll take a break.
That is something else.
This is the point of view. We're speaking to former majority leader and a key member, I should say, of Dr. Bawumia's team. If you've been watching Dr. Bawumia's campaign for leadership of the NPP in this season, you can see that there's no way he goes without Kyei-Mensah-Bonsu. Obviously, he's one of his key advisors. We'll talk a bit about the challenge Dr. Bawumia faces in winning the NPP primaries, if that's happening in January. And also discuss the nation, the conversations about Galamsey, oral, the economy. How does he assess Mahama's government 9.5 months into the 4 years? Stay with us.
Announcing Ghana's first unlimited photocopier leasing. Yes, from just 983 Ghana cedis, you can lease a multifunctional photocopier and print unlimited. Yes, unlimited and free paper every month. Guess what? That's not all. Toners, repairs, and maintenance all are free. And oh, I'm not kidding at all. And we cover the whole country. Yes, the whole country. What are you waiting for? Just visit us at www.valexlease.com or call 0244 644048. Remember, terms and conditions apply. Valex Lease, affordable document management solutions.
Kwame and his uncle are almost here.
Wait a minute. This one too, your friend Kwame.
Wait, Kwame. As in the same Kwame again?
Yes, Mommy.
I'm the second coming. Into all this tension just to reintroduce that broke boy from Kaswa.
Why would you deceive the family like this again?
Now I understand the whole delay. Troll from Kaswa. Why wouldn't he be late? Or be late?
Of course.
Star 712 hash, star 712 hash. You go be the luckiest. Coffee from Georgia be luckiest. From not the cause she be luckiest. Yeah, you go be luckiest. No matter why you're luckiest. Everybody go be the luckiest.
That's Kwame!
Senya God the apple boom. If you put it at all, so would the coming of the son of man be. Is that his car?
Dial star 712 hash. Choose your ticket. Enter your lucky number. Follow the prompt and let destiny handle the rest.
This promotion is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas platform.
This is still the point of view. Tonight we're reflecting with Kyei-Mensah-Bonsu, who is a former majority leader. 7 terms in parliament. That's a long time, almost 28 years, 3 decades almost in our parliament. Very, very rich experience. And we're trying to understand where the NPP is. Let's just do one quick thing on NPP before I come to other things. I suspect you're one of the key proponents of this idea of choosing a flag bearer first. And I don't want to over-debate it, but there's one proposition that some people feel like if a party starts electing officials from the bottom, it's also part of the healing process. Especially if some of them feel that, don't forget point number 3 was organization of the party. So if some people feel that maybe the party leadership didn't do a good job, if the party starts choosing leaders from the base, then they can say, now at least we have a new team. So we feel change is happening, all right? Then number 2, if that new team then supervises the election of a flag bearer, the flag bearer's legitimacy is more because now he's like, well, there's a new team that's choosing the leadership. So whoever wins will say, this is what the NPP thinks. But it appears because of the circumstance you face, you've inverted the process. When you reflect on that, are you sure it's a risk worth taking?
Well, every decision has its pros and cons.
Yeah.
And I think that in the circumstances, what the party has done is the best. The reason being that soon after the loss and the presentation, even before the report came to be concluded, where people announcing that the next time around they were going to contest.
Okay.
And with that ensued the acrimony that is, polluting the atmosphere for all of us. Now, so the party, with that in mind, met and decided that we can't go on this tangent for too long. Assuming we hold on to the election of a presidential candidate for the next 1 year, the next 1.5 years, how is the party going to look like after that? I will suggest to you that going by what is happening, if it delays, maybe about 1 year, 2 years from now, there will not be any party by the time the presidential candidate comes to be elected, because of the haranguing that we are hearing, right? The splattering mud over people resorting to untruths.
But is that not normal with every loss? It's almost like, some psychologists said when people, group dynamics, you storm, you norm, you form, you perform. So basically, when a party loses an election, NDC 2016, there were lots of things, Constitutional report. So it's almost like the NPP is afraid that if it allows that process to go through, the division will be too much. But maybe that's a normal part of healing. Let people argue. When they finish arguing, come home. And then let's work. But it's like you want to force the unity. So let's choose the flag bearer first, and let's forget about whatever can divide us. But that may not be a real peace. It may just be an artificial peace.
I don't agree with you.
Okay.
You see, after every loss, people point accusing fingers. Adubuahin lost the election, or should I lost in quotes, the election in 1992. The party's position at the time was that we had won, and that the verdict had been stolen from us. But to the extent that he couldn't take us to the castle at the time, right, whatever the circumstances, it amounted to a loss. And people said, oh, he couldn't win for us. Then we had another one in 1996, in Kufuor's election.
First election.
In 1996, Easter time in an election year. 1996, that was when the party elected President Kufuor. That's 3.5 years after the first election in 1992. Then, to the extent, of course, that produced 61 of us in Parliament in 1997. But the presidential candidate didn't win. Soon thereafter, we learned our lessons. That no, because we tarried for too long, 3.5 years, we needed to do it earlier, because it didn't afford the presidential candidate enough time to organize himself, organize the party, lead the party to organize itself into the next battle. And so it was decided then to have an early primaries, an early Congress, which is what happened in 1998, 1.5 years after into the second year after the loss. Yes, people pointed accusing fingers at Kufuor those days. Rawlings was too much of, there was so much injected heat. Kufuor was too gentle. He couldn't win for us. These things came up. And some others even said that, Kufuor as an Ashanti couldn't win because according to them, Komfo Anokye had long ago said that no Ashanti should occupy a position of prominence
to compete with the Asante
to overshadow.
Yeah, I remember that.
You remember that?
Yes.
But the party had faith in Kufuor, kept faith with him, and then we had a Sunyani Congress that produced Kufuor again. He led us into 2 years on, 2.5 years on. He led us into another battle, and we won. Then Akufo-Addo succeeded President Kufuor. Akufo-Addo lost the first time. That was even a marginal loss. And people said that, oh, Akufo-Addo is too steely, too much of a steal, and we need a gentle person. When they were accusing Kufuor of being too gentle, now they are accusing Akufo-Addo of being too steely, right? And that, Akufo-Addo has been cursed. He couldn't win. The party kept faith. We went with them in 2012. In 2012, it was very close, and we even took the matter to the Supreme Court. That going by the rules of the Electoral Commission for a general time, who has signaled NV, the famous NV.
No verification, no vote.
No verification, no vote. Then, 2 days before the election, there was a U-turn. Somebody spoke soundly to it, and it was then President Mahama who said, if you went there and to verify and the machine didn't verify you, you must vote against that of the provisions of the Electoral Commission. So many people were not verified, even dwelling on that point alone. So many of them were not verified and yet voted. And we said, well, by what Afrajan had told us, if you're not verified, your vote shouldn't be counted. So that was one of the reasons why we went to court. Using that alone, the numbers, if they were subtracted from that, NPP would have won. And yet, people said, even regardless of how close we got, people still accuse Akufo-Addo that Akufo-Addo couldn't win for us.
So your point is that every year and what has to be done.
Absolutely.
So every time and this approach.
But I was just telling you that even at the time, even though people critiqued Akufo-Addo, people critiqued Kufuor, the language was not as toxic as it is now. It wasn't as visceral as it is now. Right? It wasn't as divisive as it is now. Which is why, if this is allowed to prolong, it may tear the party apart.
I get it.
So in my view,
what
decision that the party took, to me, was most apt and to serve the purpose of the party. And we have 3 years, fortunately, post 31st January 2026. We have 3 years to...
But is that not too much time? Again, I'm appealing to you as a statesman now. I know you are worried about a number of things. Monetization of our politics. Too much politics. You chaired a constitution review committee under the previous government. So you are concerned about... we have too many elections in Ghana. We spend too much money on elections, and we spend too much time on politics, right?
Yes.
But in this particular scenario, I mean, some people even think that Dr. Bawumia should take a break after the election, go and cool off, go and think through. The guy has done a grueling campaign from...
Unprecedented.
Probably like from June to December.
Unprecedented.
And by April, he's doing a thank you tour. By July, he's campaigning already. I mean, you don't even treat animals like that. I'm saying, so is it like, is the need for victory so serious that after such a chastening defeat, you even give the man the chance to rest and reflect? He's already on the ground. He's already campaigning. It's too much, isn't it?
I mean, he's human, and he must be properly managed. I come to sit here, and my voice is vibrating, because of the congestion that I have in the chest, and so on. He is human. He goes about today, even today, he's on the ground, touring some constituencies in Greater Accra region. So there's not much rest for him. But the good thing is that, as you said, we shall have a 3-year period for the next election to hold. And I believe that he's not going to be on the road post-January 31st, 2026, until the election in December 2028. He's not going to be on the road all that while. So certainly there will be a rest period for him. But let's attain victory. And once we attain victory, he's not going to abandon the party. A few things may have to be done, but by and large, you have a cooling off period for at least a year to reorganize himself and assist the party to also reorganize itself, right, into the next election.
But when you campaign, do you get the sense that NPP supporters prefer him? I ask this because there are certain people in NPP who feel one of the reasons you lost was the candidate himself and the baggage he carries in terms of either his ethnicity or his religion. And I don't know if the report looked into that, but there are people who feel like beyond all the governance issues, beyond all the external issues, there may also be the unspoken elephant in the room. Some people believe this. And if you listen to the campaign of some other people, there are hints of that. So as you go around with the candidate within the party, what sense do you get? And are you concerned that that could become a big issue?
I'm not concerned at all.
At all?
I'm not concerned at all. Because what research that we did in Ashanti, the inquiry that we did in Ashanti, did not produce that. It's not one of the factors. In fact, that question, those two questions, the two prompt questions, the ethnicity and religion, were asked of the people. Everywhere in Ashanti region, they were asked. And the Kyei committee also asked similar questions. The group of professors, they asked. Conrad Adenar asked. The conclusions don't support this at all. And yet people are trying to inject that into it.
So I say if you put
with
all the three results together,
with some people
you can say
saying
conclusively that there was no...
With some people even saying that because the party, the support base is in Akan, we should fill in Akan. To me, that's the most dangerous statement. If you insist on always having an Akan as your leader and presidential candidate, those of them who are making that statement, can you go to the northern regions, the Muslim communities to campaign?
No.
When you think that they don't deserve to lead the party? That's why I'm saying that's a very dangerous statement that should not be encouraged at all. As far as I'm concerned, the party's constitution is clear on who should lead us. And is provided for in Article 13, Clause 7 of the party's constitution. That whoever should lead or aspires to lead the party should have associated whoever, regardless of class, ethnicity, religion or creed, social status and so on and so forth, whoever, should have been with the party and been active for a minimum of 5 years. Bawumia, in my view, satisfies that condition. The second thing is that that person should be of good character. It should be of good character. And Bawumia is of impeccable character. You know, I'm not conjuring this from my head because somebody said the other day that, Kyei-Mensah-Bonsu should not be allowed to define who our presidential candidate should be. Right? I'm not defining. Let me, with the greatest respect to you.
Go ahead. Yes.
I have my party constitution here. Yes. If you can read it to us.
What page are you looking at?
This page. This is Article 13, Clause 7.
And this is in relation to what?
Read it there.
Article 13, member shall be entitled to nominate.
No member
shall be entitled to nomination as party's presidential candidate unless he or she is known and active member of the party for at least 5 years. 5 years. And I'm saying that Bawumia satisfied that condition. It's of good character.
It's of good character.
It's of good standing.
Hold it. It's of good character.
I see.
The person should be of good character.
All right.
Why should the party's constitution say that that person should be of good character? Because you see, when you get elected as our presidential candidate, and mind you are not looking for a mere flag bearer, we are looking for a presidential candidate. That person should be of good character because once elected, you become the role model not only for the party, but if by God's grace you become the president, you become the role model for the entirety of the country. And that's why the character of that person should be beyond question. We have an adage that, look, if you want to see the true character of a person, invest in that person money or authority, power. Dr. Bawumia, I wouldn't say he's a pauper. At least having been a vice president, he is not rich, but he's not poor. At least what it takes to provide a decent living, he has. Right? And then, as a vice president, the second gentleman of the land, he has some authority.
I see.
The admixture of the two should let you know who the real character behind that personality.
I see.
And Bawumia's character is unassailable. And that's why I follow him. The third one is that the person should be of good standing. Good standing by our constitution, as defined by the party's constitution, that the person should maybe pay his dues and levies and so on and so forth. And also that the person should project the good image of the party by his conduct wherever Bawumia has stood.
But are they making a legal argument or they are making a political argument? The people who say the point I raised are not saying he's not eligible.
Please.
They are saying
I'm talking to the imperatives of the party.
No, I know. But I'm saying the argument is not a legal argument.
Listen, you remember?
It's a political argument.
You remember when Kabinai Japan launches himself?
Yeah.
That very day he made, a monumental statement, and he said that if for those of them who were coming, if the party was to strictly apply the party's constitution,
okay,
he knows that some may not qualify to contest. Who did he have in mind?
We have to ask him.
You have to ask him.
We have to ask
him.
So
you see, the goodness of the character of a person should stand that person out, because it's going to be a role model, and the way the person carries himself. And
since you brought me here, let me ask you a question from here.
Yes.
There are 6 or 7 criteria. Criteria number 4 says D. He has paid the prescribed fee for presidential aspirants by the deadline.
Yes.
Some people think the 4 million is too much, and I mean 4 million is a lot of money. And you've complained in the past. I remember you were on my show with Haruna Agrisu in 2019, and you said the monetization of our politics was a problem. If a man needs 4 million cedis to just file to be flag bearer of NPP, that's not chicken change, right? Is that not perpetrating the monetization?
First of all, some statement has been attributed to me.
Okay.
I just mentioned Kwabena Japan. Kwabena is a junior brother to me. And he went out on the air to say that I was the one who was instrumental in getting the party to do this. I'm shell-shocked. We were in a council meeting together, the NEC together.
Yeah.
That point, or that suggestion, didn't come from me. Because just today, on my way from Koforidua to Accra, I heard another person, a spokesperson for one of the contestants, also saying that, the suggestion came from Kyei-Mensah-Bonsu that they should pay 20 million. It never. I don't know why people resort to untruths, palpable untruths.
Wow.
I never said that. What happened was, at the NEC meeting, in fact, no mention of 20 million was even made by anybody.
Okay.
At the NEC meeting, a suggestion came that people should pay 10 million, and that contesting for the presidential candidacy is not, a chicken feed, and that people should pay 10 million. And then it was suggested by somebody else that no, 10 million is too much, it's on the high side, and that we should really come to 5 million. That's half of it. Subsequently, somebody suggested that 4 million would be the best figure. The party at that time had not taken any concrete decision, and we're moving on to another item on the agenda, as if we had decided on 4 million, which was the last suggestion. So I, sitting there, brought the party back, and I said, look, we haven't firmed up any decision on what amount to pay and how it should be paid.
Okay.
A suggestion has come relating to 10 million, somebody has said 5 million, another person is saying 4 million. Which is which? Let's firm our thoughts on that. That's what I said. Then I said that we should also be pragmatic. First, we haven't even listened to the party. If it's 4 million, if it's 5 million, if it's 10 million, what is it going to be used for? We should listen to the party, what it entails. But number 2, we should also be mindful of what happened in 2014. In 2014, when, because some people were saying that, no, even the 4 million is too high, we should bring it down to 1 million and whatever. And I said we should be pragmatic, because in 2014, when we had many more contestants in the race, but it got to a point, it was realized that the money that we had, as contributed by the aspirants, couldn't help us to organize elections. It fell short of what was required. So the party called back the contestants at the time and encouraged them to make some payment to salvage the elections. None of them at that time said they were going to contribute.
I see.
For which reason, as the then minority leader, we had some amounts stashed in our account, the minority caucus, which we should have ferried to the party. But because of certain developments, we were not doing so. We kept them. So we had a caucus meeting, and I used that money on behalf of the caucus to salvage the cause of the party in order for us to be able to do the elections. So I said we shouldn't run into that cul-de-sac again. We should be pragmatic and listen to the party, how much was going to be involved, and on account of that,
make a decision.
That's all that I said.
So that shouldn't be misconstrued to say you supported 20 million or 10 million.
20 million was not even mentioned.
Or 10 or 4.
So or 10 or 4. So I'm surprised Kwabena
but was
comes
the
out
4
to say that.
Agreed on consensus? Everybody said the 4 was okay. Or some people challenged the 4.
No. Well, certainly, if I think it was agreed on by consensus, even though one or two people still felt that even the 4 was on the high side. But the overwhelming majority was in favor of the 4. On account of the explanation given by the party as to how it was going to be spent, how much was needed, and so on. That's how come eventually...
Let's take a breather and come back and look at President Mahama and assess him briefly. And then I'll pick his top 3 views on constitution review because of his work in the previous government. Stay with us.
When malaria strikes your home, it strikes everything. Sleep, peace, and even work. Don't miss deadlines because of malaria. Don't lose your sleep to malaria. No more endless worry because of malaria.
Ole loco, enough!
Fight malaria back with Vegetem. Vegetem is effective, safe, and fast-acting against malaria. With its alu-alu packaging, Vegetem tablets stays effective right to the very last tablets. Vegetem is also available in suspension for children. Vegetem, tough on malaria, easy on you. If symptoms persist after 3 days, please consult a doctor. This advert is FDA approved.
Kwame and his uncle are almost here.
Wait a minute. This one too, your friend Kwame.
Wait, Kwame. As in the same Kwame again?
Yes, Mommy.
I'm the second coming. Into all this tension just to reintroduce that broke boy from Kaswa.
Why would you deceive the family like this again?
Now I understand the whole delay. Trotro from Kaswa. Why wouldn't he be late? Or be late?
Of course.
Star 712 hash, star 712 hash. You go be the luckiest. Coffee from Georgia be luckiest. From not the cause she be luckiest. Me and you go be luckiest. No matter why you're luckiest. Everybody go be the luckiest.
That's Kwame!
Send your God the apple boom. If you put it at all, so would the coming of the son of man be. Is that his car?
Dial star 712 hash. Choose your ticket. Enter your lucky number. Follow the prompt and let destiny handle the rest.
This promotion is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas platform.
Remember who we are seeing now. At risk of prostate enlargement. We remember or her 20 ebitiminya prostate cancer. 5 bitimi afamu nadia obefamu.
Actually, this is not my fault.
And to wada, entina midi manichi Executive Prostate Center.
Executive Prostate Center is a unique medical center where we harmonize in-depth traditional medicine with cutting-edge science and technology to cure, to treat, and to prevent diseases like prostate enlargement, prostate cancer.
Executive Prostate Center, Madame Home, facilities no, any professional medical care.
Sisi a bibia clear wɔ system no. Yen no ne so de natural. Into we koso afama ye.
Executive Prostate Center, my cured.
Welcome back. Our guest is Kyei-Mensah-Bonsu, former majority leader, 7-term member of parliament, now a key member of Dr. Bawumia's team as he campaigns for NPP Flagbearer. Let's talk about President Mahama. He's been in office, I think, 9.5 months. We are in October, so you can say a full 9 months. Is it enough to assess a government? Is 9 months enough to start seeing where they are going? It's too early.
Well, I think you can have some indication.
Okay.
Which is why governments are assessed the first 100 days once they launch themselves into office.
Okay.
What they do, the early indications would suggest to you the path they want to beat. So, if I have to talk about the current state of affairs, the president would soon be going to Parliament to deliver his State of the Nation address. The State of the Nation address, as captured by Article 67, doesn't really provide much stuff. But then the ingredients are provided for under Article 34 of the Constitution, 34 Clause 2, which will suggest to you that when the president goes there, he should be talking to the nation about 5 critical issues. The first one is the realization of basic human rights. The second is how he's growing the economy, whether the economy is healthy or not. The third is the right to work. The fourth is the right to good health care. And the fifth is the right to education.
Okay.
There are other matters, right to housing and so on and so forth. But these are the imperatives contained in Article 34, Clause 2 of the Constitution.
I see.
So if I have to deal with it, the basic human rights, where are we with it? President Mahama started dismissing people, public servants who have been recruited in the system. You see, in Article 191B of the Constitution, it talks about the fact that you cannot dismiss a public servant properly so recruited in the public service without a just cause. What is the cause for dismissing them? You remember that he said that post the election of December 7th, some people had been recruited into the public service. And so those ones, they gave signals at the transitions meeting, the transitional arrangement that we have after elections. I was part of it. I deputized the chief of staff, the then chief of staff, Madam Akosia Frema, Osei Opare, to represent the NPP side.
Yeah.
So they gave those signals there that those people who had been recruited in the public service post the elections, they were going to throw them out. We didn't debate it. But then we all saw what happened. People who had been recruited in 2024, early 2024, were jettisoned. They are public servants. My fear is, where are we as a nation going? We have dismissed them without just cause. If you're not fortunate, in the fullness of time, these people may come demanding some fair, compensation.
The Minister for Employment has said that a committee has been put in place to reverse some of that. I think I've interviewed him and a couple of people have also had that. So it appears there's some work to reverse some of those dismissals.
How long do they have to stay home? Because some of them have been at home for about 8 months now. For how long do they have to stay home and suffer this imperilment?
Okay.
So that's something that we should look at. And
so for you, basic human rights is a key, and that's something
basic human rights and the work people using the office of the OSP to arrest people, the oral, what they did, Then the what's the name of this new outfit? What used to be BNI?
NIB.
NIB. And the office of Yoko to arrest people with impunity. And when they are arrested, absurd, guarantees have to be provided.
The bail conditions.
The bail conditions. I mean, where are we going to? In the meantime, all this while, to the best of my knowledge, they have not been able to file any charges against any one of them and start and initiate, proceedings against them in court. Where are we heading to as a nation?
So on the human rights, you are not happy on that?
I'm not happy on that. The arrest of Wuntumi, Abronye, former ministers who are required to be reporting on weekly basis, the administrator of the Common Fund and so on. I mean, it's certainly not the best of circumstances.
Okay.
If you investigate people, and Wuntumi, the chairman of Ashanti region, the regional party, you go to him, whether he's done anything wrong, understand they've gone to confiscate 15 vehicles. What wrong? When you have not initiated any proceedings against him, his private vehicles have gone to confiscate them.
So you think that should happen after a court process?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So these are matters that all of us should be concerned.
What about economy?
The economy, I would commend government for the initial attainment of the cedi regaining its strength against the international currencies. Yesterday, I read that inflation
single digit for the first time in 4 years
had climbed down to 9.4%. That is a stupendous achievement. What should concern us now is the cost of borrowing.
Correct.
Right, because it's not reflecting in that. Is there anything wrong? Because necessarily should translate into that.
Correct.
If the interest rate is still hanging up there, it means some of the fundamentals are not talking to each other. And we need really to interrogate that.
Fair enough.
But having said that, the current situation, we should all admit, is buoyed up by what international reserves that were left. Over 9 billion that was left in the dollars that was left in the kitty. Post-COVID, 2021, we had gone up to almost 10 billion. And then in the COVID situation, we needed to, come to claw some of them back, and we hit about 5 billion. But 2 years after that, post-2022, we were able to restock and get to almost 9 billion. Now, it is that the reserve cover, plus the gold purchase agreement embarked on by the Bank of Ghana, which
the gold for reserve program. That's what it's called.
Yes.
The gold for reserve.
Yes, that increased our gold reserve stock. Post-independence, until 2022, we had just 8 metric tons of gold at the Bank of Ghana. Within 2 years, we were able to climb up to over 31 metric tons. Unprecedented in the history of the country. And, in Africa, I think the performance of Bank of Ghana was the best. Now, the combined effect of these two is what is buoying up the city. You remember?
Really? Because the Bank of Ghana was accused of massive losses in the last year of the previous government.
Yes.
So,
what losses in what respect?
When you put their balance sheets together,
losses in what respect?
The bank had lent money to the government.
Go and interrogate.
They were accused of printing money, borrowing money to the government, went into overdraft and all of those things.
What has happened now? What has happened now? Recently, at the interview of the president, what did he say? When he was asked about how the city was buoying up, what did he say? Is that the Bank of Ghana had entered the marketplace and was cushioning the city with our reserves? What does it mean?
But why didn't you use the reserves?
What does it
mean? Why
mean?
didn't you use the reserves at the time then? Because the currency suffered from 22
the
to 24.
then finance minister felt that we should allow Bank of Ghana to do their own thing and then stock the reserves to a certain point. Of course, we all knew that.
So you're saying that some of the economic success is benefiting from your work?
Absolutely.
I see.
The 31 metric tons that we left at the Bank of Ghana.
Okay.
Have they added how much to it? Do you know? Nothing.
Well, they also say that
Nothing.
The gold they've
The gold board.
Yes, the gold
The
board.
gold board arrangement, I must admit, even though we spoke about it in our manifesto, but it was not implemented before we left. But Omia's manifesto, we had it.
But you didn't call it gold board?
No, we didn't call it gold board.
What were you going to do?
It was just what these people are doing.
Serious?
Except that plus something else, which is not even in this one. And I've spoken to some of the people that we need to look at that. Remember when we had petroleum resources?
Yeah.
We said because petroleum reserves are finite, we should have a holding fund for use by posterity, because that mineral is not for generations of today alone, but for generations of tomorrow, for posterity, which is captured by the preamble of your national constitution. Whatever we do should be sustainably used.
Is that the Heritage Fund?
The Heritage Fund. I'm saying that what is missing from this one, because gold is finite, is that they should have created such a fund.
To invest some of the proceeds?
In that fund.
But you admit that the gold board has helped to build the reserves further, because now we're even told that small scale mining is now 52% of our gold production and large scale is 48%. So it seems as if the gold board has found a way of mopping up smuggled gold. I think the point they make is
I want to believe.
a lot of the gold that was going out, they found a way of...
Oh, but what we started in year to that, don't forget, before 2020, our gold production was 2.5 million ounces. Before 2022, gold production was 2.5 million ounces. In 2024, it climbed up to 4.5 million ounces. It was because of the arrangement that we had. So people, and then because Bank of Ghana and the Minerals Commission were buying them at world market price, there was no need to engage in smuggling. They all sent the gold there. Today, my fear, even though the gold board is
offering market price,
is a good arrangement, they started offering market price. Now they are keeping some margins, and I'm told on authority that what price they are offering today is in the region of about 80%.
It could incentivize smuggling.
It could incentivize,
so?
And my fear is that if we are not careful, it may engender smuggling such that what output that we had in 2024, we may not be able to match.
Fair enough.
And that could be dangerous for us.
Okay.
So I think that they should straighten matters up. The gold board, as I said, the structure is good. I don't agree with the composition of the board members, because I thought that should also have come with some qualifications. You must be able to perhaps be appointed a member of the board, having some competence in maybe the sale, for instance, of commodities.
Maybe we should judge them based on their work and not
their performance.
Not just on their performance.
But of course, if you don't have the competence and you go into it, you may want to learn on
But
site.
don't forget they have a board too, and if you look at the composition of the board and the consultation, there are lots of experienced people around that. So even though the
but
team
who is in charge of the day-to-day?
But we can see the work he's doing.
So I'm saying that we should be careful, because this is for Ghana, not for individuals, and not for even the government. It's something that we are doing for the state, for the nation, and that's the point that I'm making.
So on economy, you are fairly pleased, but some of the credit should go to previous. No problem. You mentioned right to work, health, and then you mentioned education.
The right to work. Now, what is happening now? What new work? What new employment avenues have been created? That's for nothing. The only thing that we are saying is the liberation of galamseyers to go to the field to make some living. It's not the best. Unfortunately, what's new introduction, which just replicates what the previous government did, the community mining, rechristening it. Unfortunately, when they were going to launch it, it led to the death of some gallant soldiers, some ministers, high visibility politicians. Certainly, and you mentioned Omani Boama, you mentioned Mutala, you mentioned
Samuel Sapon,
Dr. Sapon, and so on. Certainly, what we witnessed, not the best. My wish is that they shouldn't perish in vain. We should really look at that regime again and do what is right, because the pollution that is going on is certainly not the best. The river bodies, the farmlands that are being taken over, and even the poison that is being injected in the soil, farmlands. I think last week I saw this newspaper report that some cassava that had been harvested, taken to the lab, it was found out that they have really toxic chemicals in them. And we should be careful where we are going. Okay. So we should straighten up. But I think that we can only revamp the economy through industrialization. And what we started, the one district, one factory, most of it was going to be based on agro-processing. And if you can't vouch for your agro-products, where are we going? John Mahama's administration, I think last week I saw talking about a new discovery of iron ore in the Oti region. Not really a new discovery, because we have known this. It's what was discovered at Sheni. It's that stretch of the Akwapim Togo Mountains. It's there. So we spoke to it. I'm surprised people want to reinvent the wheel, and they are saying that. But much more importantly, we need to go into the iron ore smelting, right, to really give effect to the iron and steel industry. Unfortunately, the cost of power is prohibitive in Ghana. You know, generating power at an average of about 13 cents per kilowatt hour certainly would not allow us to go into processing of bauxite.
Okay.
So you remember that Akufo-Addo's administration set this one up, and then iron and steel.
Yeah.
They were never able to get off the ground. What do we do? And yet we need them. What do we do? For the
So you're talking gear deck now?
For the iron and steel, the associated recommendation was that we need to build a dam on the Oti. That will generate, depending on where it is built, it could generate anything between 150 megawatts and 220 megawatts. Now the iron and steel would require anything between 80 megawatts and 100 megawatts. That the complex itself.
Okay.
So if you have a hydro dam, which will be able to produce at a cost of maybe about 5-6 cents per kilowatt hour, then we dedicate it to the production of the processing of the iron ore. If we don't do that, the generation mix that gives us about 13 cents per kilowatt hour certainly cannot support.
So there are a lot of structural issues on transformation that have to be dealt with.
Yes, so we have to do that. And of course, when we're able to do it, we're spending so much to build roads. The way to go is the development of rails.
What about education? There was a big thing in your campaign that, Mahama will cancel free SHS. He's actually continued it. He's added the no-fee stress, and they're now going to even, I won't say abolish, but essentially phase out double track. So on education, they seem to be on track.
They seem to be on track, but you just qualified it. They seem. Are they fully on track? But continuing it and not abandoning it must be applauded. Rawlings it was who started this FQ, the Free Compulsory Universal Basic Education. When we came, Kufo, he realized that, well, its implementation was having some challenges, which is why he introduced a capitation grant, then later school feeding on pilot basis, right, and free transportation for them and so on. So that is the extent we carried it. Akufo-Addo started the free senior high school because that's the next stage. How do we do it? Abolishing the double track is good, but we should have the infrastructure to absorb those of them who are doing a double track now. If you have the infrastructure, well, fair and fine. And we should also ensure that the feeding, because studying at that level requires proper nutrition. We need to ensure that they have proper food.
On health, Dr. Bamia said last few days that he was going to continue Agenda 111. Is it an indication that you feel this government is not going to continue with it?
Well, the Agenda 111 is construction. Don't forget, was in sync with Article 36, Clause 2D of our National Constitution, which requires us in developing the country to be equitable.
Okay.
So that every region, every district, and even components within districts are developed equitably.
Okay.
Extending healthcare to the districts, to the regions, is imperative. So why do you say that? Why do you give a signal that you are not concerned about that? In fact, in the budget, there was no mention of it. And in the meantime, I went to Tepa last week, and I saw what has been done at Tepa in the Afwano North District. I went there, I was shell-shocked. What infrastructure exists there? The buildings, I didn't enter. That's about, what I saw is about 90% complete. I've not entered.
When the
So I don't
president
know
met
of
the
the
media, he
equipment.
said to us that he would finish projects that have started. He did say that. He was asked
Yes, but I'm
directly
saying that
about
in the
that.
budget, it's not by word of mouth. They should find expression in the budget. They were not captured in the budget.
The next budget is in November.
The next budget, we hope. in
Because
December.
don't forget that there's already an IMF program. So this first budget at 2,000 Red was probably a budget that was more like what's the
A
word?
continuation
Yes.
of
So the real agenda will be shown in the new budget.
Well, but when we started, when the post post COVID, when we are going to the IMF, don't forget, we had gone to the IMF and we started these hospitals. So I think that if there is a will on the part of government, there certainly will be a way.
The president
So
says he will put majority of his infrastructure money in the big push. So he seems to have prioritized roads, at least in the first year or two. Listening to him, he appears to be more interested in investing in the road infrastructure than other kinds of infrastructure. That's the impression I get listening to him.
No, but the development of, if you have to stop double track, you must invest in educational infrastructure. He didn't mention that in the big push, but I think that it's imperative
that he does that.
That he does that. The roads, yes. The last week I drove to Kumasi, and on my way back I drove again. The road is deteriorating very, very fast. So we need to do them. But I think that we must recognize at this stage, just as was proposed by the previous administration, that where we are as a nation, and we've already spoken a little bit about developing our rail lines, where we are as a nation, governments can't continue eternally to sink such huge amounts into the construction of roads. For instance, today, if you want to do a double-layered asphaltic road, per kilometer is in the region of about $1.7 million. So if you are doing a stretch between Accra and Kumasi, about 250.
But is that not still cheaper than rail?
The road.
That figure,
yes,
is still cheaper than doing the same length by rail. Because when you look at the Temampakadan, that was almost $500 million.
Yes.
For a distance that's probably equivalent.
Yes.
So in a sense, roads are still cheaper, at least in the short term, than rail.
No, not good. Now you qualify it. A rail track, once laid, is properly maintained, can last for about 50 years. Can last for about 50 years. You only may have to change the sleepers, but the track itself will be in place, right? So we need to concentrate on that, and that then will mean that the rail line will be about 500% or perhaps even 1,000% cheaper than the roads. Because you see, the roads are even going bad because of the heavy load. Because there's no rail track, and we are punishing the roads by overloading these articulated trucks. And within a short time after we've constructed the road, it starts giving way. It's not necessarily due to poor construction, but one critical reason is a load that is ferried on the roads. So we need to look at that. And I'm saying that the current administration, and I'm happy, I think the current minister, the Honorable Abuja, who is a built environment engineer, he's an architect, and so he knows this. I think the way to go is to entrust the construction to these private people to do a BOOT. You build, you own, you operate, and transfer at the end of a given time.
Like the motorway?
Like the motorway is going to be.
Okay.
We should do so for all the roads, the major arterial roads, right? Especially between Kumasi, Accra, Kumasi to Tamale.
Do you agree with his plan to do it calls it Accra Kumasi Expressway? The president announced that beyond fixing the regular road, they want to build an Accra Kumasi Expressway.
Yes.
He announced this in the.
I don't know why you are going to do that. When now from Pokuase.
Yeah. From
Pokuase, the road expansion that is being done by what's the name of the contractor? Maripoma. I mean, it's wide enough, right? I think 3 lanes on either side, plus a two-lane slip road to either side, making it about 5 lanes on one side. On each side, and another 5 lanes on this side. Now, if we follow that to Apeja Junction, expand it, and then, as has been done already, diverting it from Chibi Township using the route that was constructed. And then you get to Osino, and then there's another diversion. You get to Nkoko, there's another diversion. There's another diversion at Konongo, right?
You may not need a separate...
You may not need a separate...
So this road can serve for that?
Okay. Don't forget that if you want to do that, now you're going to acquire new land for it. To begin to pay another compensation for this express road when this one exists already.
It's going to be too expensive.
I don't think it's worth it. So I would urge President Mahama to have a rethink
of that.
And because if it's not done, it will also mean that what we have done, the contracts that have been awarded, the payments that are due, the nation is going to pay and not benefit from it. Would it make sense to us?
Let's end on constitution review. You led an effort under the Akufo-Addo government to review the constitution. You called it a chapter-by-chapter review.
Yes.
You handed the work to the incoming president end of last year. He set up a new committee chaired by H. Kwesi Prempeh. Do you know if what they are doing is a continuation of what you've done, or whether it's a new thing?
I would say that it's a continuation of the processes that were begun much earlier. You know, President Mills, it was who set up the first committee to deal with this. But President Mills had his own ideas that I think we should be looking at these areas, and which is what the committee did. And afterwards, they submitted their report to him, and some aspects he agreed with, some aspects he didn't agree with. Right? What we did, what my committee did, the committee that I put together did, was to do a chapter by chapter and even clause by clause consideration, because there's a lot of deficits in even the construction of the clauses in the Constitution. So we started from chapter 1 and then ended with the last chapter. So a lot of effort went into it. The happy news is that in doing it, the current chairman was also invited to give his own perspectives. President Mahama, at the time, was invited to give his own perspectives. I think he was represented at the time by, was it the current Attorney General, right? Parliament's input was sought. And then the judiciary's input was also sought.
Okay.
So all of them came together. And the judiciary, those days, Justice, the current, I think the second in command, Justice Puaman was there, Justice Doche was there, many of them. They came and offered, apart from what the judiciary as a collective brought, the Judicial Council also submitted their input. So it was across the board thing that we did. And we submitted the report to Professor Kwesi Prempeh. I would say that since he assumed office, he's also invited me in my individual capacity as the person who put that together and my own perspectives. And I think it was a very wonderful encounter that we had. And thereafter, after I've spoken to them, they asked me to submit some proposals, which is what I did. And to me, it's been a wonderful encounter.
Are you able to tell me what is the most important thing that needs to change about the current constitution? Because you've done a lot of work. So just if I give you like, what's the most, is it the size of government? Is it the ability of the independence of parliament? Is it the system of the executive being too powerful? If I were to press you to say, look, give me 1 or 2 big things we need to change in the constitution to make our democracy better, what would you say?
Democracy should yield development. And for instance, we are just discussing how come President Mahama feels not, well positioned to continue some of the projects and programs by the previous administration. It is so because as a nation, we don't have a long-term development plan. And a long-term development plan should be fashioned by the National Development Planning Commission, the NDPC. Unfortunately, the very composition of the NDPC, as provided for in the Constitution, does not engender support by subsidiary administrations. Why? Because if you look at the composition, it is populated by ministers of the incumbent administration. So the next subsidiary administration may think that, this is the view of or the development agenda of the previous administration. I don't subscribe to it. Now we should place at the center the NDPC. In that case, we should look at the composition as provided for under the constitution and perhaps populate it with experts and neutrals, politically neutral people. Now to do that for us, it shouldn't be difficult because you see, the directive principles of state policy really forces all of us, the political parties, to turn into centrist parties because the overarching view for development, as provided for under the directive principle of state policies, really confines all of us to the center because it is provided how the development agenda, the overall development agenda of the nation should be. Now, we may differ in the implementation because the NDC, in spite of the loud noises, they just belong a little bit to the left of the center. NPP,
and you also a bit to the right of the center.
NPP is just a little bit to the right of the center, which is why Kufuor, for instance, a liberal conservative, was the one who introduced NHIS.
And the capitation grant.
Right? So
which is very social.
These are social interventions.
It's a social program.
But they are imperatives of the Constitution, which is what we did. And they, in spite of the noise that they made about it, when they came, they had to continue because it's a good policy. And then the free senior high, again, an imperative of the Constitution. You can't jettison it.
Which the MPP brought.
We can't jettison it. And so, as I said, if we have that construct provided for us by the NDPC, then you would see that the manifestos of the political party will be moving around the construct provided by the NDPC. That's a long-term development plan. So we may just vary just a bit about petty things, right? But the major road, the highway, would have been defined for us by NDPC. And to that extent, the wastage in the system, somebody begins this program or project, another person comes, oh, that's not my priority, I'm stopping. In spite of the huge investment of state funds, it's left to rot. Another person comes, he begins something. We can't develop the country that way. So I think a major thing that we should be looking at is how to put the NDPC at the center of our national development. For continuity.
So if your party wins in 2028, you will not emphasize the manifesto. You will emphasize the development.
It depends
plan.
on. In fact, it's been my edge. Yes, but I'm not the ultimate. I think
you are a key advisor.
I'm saying that it should reflect in the constitutional amendment.
I see.
Being attended to by Professor Kusi Prempe and the other very capable hands who are with him. And I think that once it's done and we all agree to it, right, it would lead us to the highway of the super highway of national development, and the wastage in the system will be minimized to a very, very huge extent.
We will leave it here. Thank you. Honorable Kyei-Mensah-Bonsu, I'll say Kyei-Mensah-Bonsu, the development planner who became the parliamentary leader, who's now, is it fair for me to call you Dr. Bamia's right-hand man? Because every time I see a picture of him in a campaign, you're on his right hand.
Octopus Paul. Let's end it here. With the greatest respect to you, I didn't know that you've reclined to this place and you are in the position of
I'm just looking at the pictures. No, it's not. I'm talking about the picture, not the position. Just the picture. Every time you look at that, it's on his right hand, and then there's the former defense minister. Almost all the pictures you're on his right. It's the picture. It's not the position.
No further comments. Thank you. Thank you once again for having me.
Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time. Have a good night. Bye-bye.